Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for a press day, but a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below, it'd be greatly appreciated. Also, I love press days, and as I kind of said on Facebook, some people don't seem to be aware of this, but I actually enjoy banning people. Like, I love it when people give me an excuse to ban them because I like doing it, I like pressing the button. I've done that for years and years and years. I have over 5,000 people on my ban list on this channel. So overhead pressing always brings them out. So just an FYI, if you're like, well, he banned me. Oh, because you said something about my lifting. You gave me lifting advice. You criticized my range of motion. You know that I banned for that. And you know I enjoy doing it. Like, so you intended for me to ban you. That was your intended purpose in making the post, right? So because I'm I'm a coach, I'm not interested in your input. I'm not interested in your input. I don't want it. I don't care. I'm documenting my lifting. Now, so we went back to the press, and I've been showing you guys the last few days. It shouldn't be a surprise. I've been saying, look, let me mess around with my grip again and find a grip that's really comfortable on my shoulders, that I can get a little better range of motion. When people don't understand that lockout is nothing, it's not my elbows, it's my shoulders. Like, I can't raise my arms in the front. Like, if I stick my arms out in front of me and raise them, I can't raise them past my chin. I can raise them up over my head to the sides. So this creates problems with certain movements, and it's not a mobility issue. It is my skeletal structure. It is bone hitting bone, and you would not be physically strong enough if you walked over and pushed up. You would just push me over. The joint won't move. I've tested this, so I know this. So I'm going with a grip that will let me get a better range of motion that feels good on my shoulders, and I'm going to push the press. Now, what had come up with someone else had already said, hey, I thought you're going to mess with incline for a while. Yeah, I did for a couple workouts, and I realized, the press is going to bring more to the table. It really will. I really need stronger shoulders. My shoulders are my limit in my benching right now. It's not triceps right now. It really isn't. It's shoulders. And I know, based upon my bench performance, how it feels. My delts have just got to come up. I'm going to have to hammer them. So I'm going to go back to the press, which again, very classic for the 5-3-1 type templates. And so again, I'm doing the higher intensity ramp ups, you guys will notice. So it's actually work sets for all three of the fives. And then I did 5 sets of 10. Again, ton of shoulder work. And it felt good. My shoulders feel good. Nothing's hurting. So I'm happy with this choice, but I had to lock in and go back to, okay, what sort of stuff have I used in the past on the press to not have pain and to hit big numbers in the past? Because you guys have seen me press 227.5 years ago. I need to get back to that. If I'm going to mess with the press, I need to get back to that. We need to care about performance. And again, it's a more athletic movement. So I'm going to run with it, but it's all going to be about, notice my wrist stacking and everything at the bottom with this grip. It's going to be about me getting that wide stance, laying back a little bit to deal with my specific range of motion of my joint and getting the most out of the exercise. So that's what I'm going to do. But I thought the thing was funny that, someone, it's like, oh, I thought you were doing it. It's like, it doesn't matter. Do you guys see how often I change lifts for my clients and they still hit big numbers? Lift selection can be very, very, very fluid. And I really don't know why people don't get that fact. It's something I learned really messing with coaching conjugate. I could literally change this stuff all the time to a large extent and keep flowing as long as the programming is right, the tension is right, the progressions are right, the workloads are right. I can make it work. So after that, we went hard. I'm like, well, since people are going to be like, oh man, your pros are so weak, like, let's really put some work in on these axle bar rows. I bumped the weight. Went back to the best weight I've done in the past, because I feel like one good session with these, 1 or 2 good sessions is enough to get these flowing again. And I went back for the weight I had done as my best sets of 10. And I got it. This is 230 pounds on the axle bar. I managed to get 5 sets of 10. My grip held, but the forearm pump, you guys will notice each set when I stand up, I'm just opening and closing my hands because my forearms are lit. But you talk about orc mode. Let's talk about orc mode training. All this axle bar work, the neck work, the yoke stuff. Right, we're getting orc mode now. orc mode, really that power look. I need to make videos on that specifically. Need to make some power look. Or if you go to those old bodybuilder, like the bodybuilding era that I don't hate, it was the Herculean look is what they called it. The Herculean versus the Apollyon. The Apollyon being the, you know, feminine, unmasculine men using words like beauty and stuff to describe it. So it was the Apollyon look. And then the Herculean look was that you look strong. Because you generally are strong. And that's the idea. This falls right into that area. But yeah, these went good. So I need to keep building my forearms, keep building my grip. That's going to help my bench. It's going to help my deadlift. Plus, for me at this point, I'm strong enough with the axle bar stuff that I am getting back work. Like, this is not just a grip tool for me. I mean, 230 for 5 sets of 10. I feel my back. My lats, traps, rear delts, everything are getting worked. Right? They're getting worked. But I am putting some priority to grip and forearm. And it's hitting them hard. Because as I've said, I feel like that's going to be my limit on my deadlift. And I know I need the thicker, stronger forearms for my bench. I know I need it. And I've even had an elite coach chat with me about it who benches over 500. We were chatting on Skype the other day. And he had kind of said that, yeah, forearms, man. Forearms really matter if you want a big bench. And because look how small my wrists are. I have such small wrists. I do need to make sure my forearms are as thick as I can possibly get them. But you don't want to stand around doing wrist curls. Do fat bar work. Same thing on these curls. If I'm going to do a bicep exercise, make it big. Make it a forearm tool. Make sure we take it through that range of motion to where we are bringing the weight up also to the face so that we have movement of the shoulder and the elbow. And I went up on these today. All right, this was a PR. The best I've ever done on these axle bar curls. And I need to keep getting stronger on them. But I added microplates, so I added 2.5 pounds. Added 2.5 pounds. And, you know, part of it with what I'm doing, part of me wants to bench and overhead press twice a week and pull out any sort of tricep work. But I feel like right now, I don't know if my shoulders can really handle that yet. I would love to do it all big and basic like your mom. Because even this curl falls into that. Again, this isn't just playing with a single joint movement. This is a bigger exercise. And with the fat bar, it makes it a grip tool. Because notice at the bottom, having to hold it and to squeeze it, and that eccentric. So I think tomorrow I want to mess with my cleans with the axle bar. I think I want to mess with after deadlifting too. That's going to be fun. But it'll build a monstrous grip, and by me doing this stuff, I don't need to worry about any grip training outside of my normal workouts. All this fat bar work and all this pulling without straps and by pulling I meant deadlifting, we're getting what we want. And even this adds to it. It adds to it. Now what I decided to finish up with is tricep extensions with the dumbbells, because again they're easier on the elbows and everything. And I'm taking a completely different approach. On everything else, what am I doing? It's big, basic movements. Looking at, can I incorporate more muscles, right? Big old movements. This is a smaller exercise. Although it's not really true single joint because there is a little bit of extension of the shoulder. So we get that long head. What did I do here? This is true pump work. If we're going to do small exercises, if we're going to throw one in, treat them like small exercises. Seriously, go for pump, go for volume. And I'm not even going to failure on any of this. I'm just getting a pump. But as I accumulate sets, that fatigue starts building and building and building. So if you have something like triceps, because my arms need to be bigger, and I feel like bigger triceps will help my bench a lot. They'll help my bench a lot. And yeah, I could just do more close grip benching. But again, I've got to build recovery better on pressing strength, to be honest. This will let me fill in the gap in the meantime. And, you know, if my triceps get big enough from doing this, I can go over and just do the close grip or medium grip, whatever you want to call it. It's really close grip still. Close grip benching and overhead pressing, and that might be enough for my triceps if I do it both upper days. But for now, not ready to go to that yet, and so I really need a smaller exercise to fill the gap. Now the concern is in the long term, these small exercises will cause tendon inflammation eventually if you're not careful. So hopefully before that happens, I have my triceps kind of where I want them, and then I can use close grip benching and overhead pressing to just keep it moving and just focus on those for volume. And part of me wants to do that right now, but I know as a coach, it's not wise. I feel like I have some other base building to do again, rebuilding back up on the benching and everything. But I feel like my benching technique, what I've switched over to and I'm doing, is going to flow a lot better, and rebuilding back to where I was, getting my bench back to where it was and then surpassing that. But in the meantime, delts and triceps need to be a high priority. They need to be a high priority. And once the overhead press is caught up, once the press is caught up to where it's decent and respectable again, I can probably pull these smaller tricep movements. Why? Because my workloads will be high enough potentially on the benching and the overhead pressing to keep my triceps growing. But right now, I feel like the workload itself won't be high enough, and my shoulders aren't really strong enough yet, and they're rebuilding to support it. And what by strong enough, I don't mean the small things like rotators. I'm talking the actual deltoids. They just need to get stronger, and I don't feel like they have the strength of the work capacity yet to really, for all of that to just be enough for my triceps. So this needs to be done in the meantime. So I'm going to do it. But we did 7 sets and just took it all the way to where it got really fatigued. And at the 7th set, I'm like, okay, these are getting hard. We're getting close to failure. That's enough. We got our good metabolic fatigue on the one small movement we're doing. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.